Now then, England. You're seeing the lights are on and it's a cloudy day. I think we all agree that it's more of a bowling day. And England will have to use this new ball far better than they did in that first innings.
Yeah, you're right, Bumble, and that might be the word from Joe Root, final words to his team in the huddle. As you say, the bowling conditions are good, lights are on, clouds have rolled in, a bit of drizzle in the air, but Broad and Woakes weren't good with the new ball in the first innings. Figures looked fine. I think Broad's first spell was something like 6 overs, 4 maidens, none for 6, but neither he nor Chris Woakes made the batsman play enough. They bowled too wide, and therefore they'll have to be more accurate second time around. Mentioned that England were just a bit off target at the start. Key is doing what Tim Murtagh did, which is get it on the top of off stump, ask the questions of the batsman right from the word go. And whilst England didn't go for any runs, nor did they threaten the off stump, they didn't make the batsman play enough at the start of the innings. And if they're going to turn this around and win this game, they're going to have to be better second time around with the new ball.
We're all just finishing duties. Field will be interesting too. They've just got these 181 to play with, England, and so obviously want the catches in. But you can see the effect of the lights already. Just looking down at the wicket-keeper and 4 slips in there. They'll have to shift the roll that's coming for them. Mind the slips. Good 3-point turn. 7 minutes of the roller maximum.
You don't have to take that full allocation, do you?
Do you know, it's changed a little bit. There's all sorts of things. It's 7 minutes maximum. I think you might be right that you can say, well, we'll just have it
up and down
for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not certain about that because it has changed. Just at fine leg now, the roller. Broad round the wicket.
Well, it's such an important part of the game, or part of the day, the new ball. If Ireland can get through it, it will help them go a long way towards what would be a famous victory. Just 182 to win. You need one big partnership, really. They had one decent partnership in that first innings between Sterling and Balbirnie. One decent partnership knocks a big hole in this target.
Got to get into this top order very, very quickly. 2 seasoned bowlers for England. England attack, Stuart Broad, Chris Woakes, new man Ollie Stone with pace, Sam Curran. England have 2 spinners, and I think we've talked too much about spin during this test match. We've not seen any real turn for any of the spinners. It's going to be the seam, as you'd think. Wobbly seam again from Stuart Broad. That last dismissal, Stuart Thompson's, was a wobbly seam.
Better straight away. Well, the ball was.
I think he's had a word there, hasn't he?
Montage of Broad and Woakes in the first innings and how wayward they were. That last ball to Porterfield is where Broad wants to be time and time again. This is where you dread it as an opening batsman. You've got to play at that.
We saw that in the first innings, that last delivery. It's a pleasant leave, is that batsman. You crave that. It's a full-length ball, but it's wide. Just let it go past.
Absolutely. As an opening batsman, what you're hoping for is exactly that. You can get a feel for the pace of the pitch, you can get a feel for the swing and the conditions, and you're not under any pressure whatsoever. Always at your most vulnerable right at the start.
Solid from Porterfield. Maiden. There's a very good crowd in again. A lot of visitors from Ireland, a lot of London Irish. Oh, they'll be dreaming, willing this team to do well. England support. A cracking crowd. Oh, it's raining. Jackets going on. Umbrellas will be round and about. Don't think we're getting too much. Looking at the forecast, I don't think there's too much around just now. Nursery end for Chris Woakes. You can see the effect. Just look at the effect from our great commentary position, the effect of the lights. Square leg umpire Alindor's got his hat off, feeling the rain. They're coming off. They're going to get the covers on. A little bit of rain will drop onto this pitch now. It's not much, it's just a shower. So we've had a false start. We go again. Rain seems to have drifted away. There is some blue sky around, but the lights are still on. Revise the conditions. This morning session is extended now until 2 o'clock. Still a 40-minute break. Afternoon session until 20 to 5. 85 overs to be bowled, and we can play till 7:30. We've had 1 over and 1 delivery, so Chris Woakes will finish his over. England have got 4 slips. A long break there for rain. It still has that feel of a bowling day. Not nearly as hot as it was yesterday, but it's sultry. I mentioned that there's just a little bit of blue sky. The players are stomping around, they're ready to go. every Irish run will be cheered. He's scrambling around Stuart Broad.
England certainly don't want him going down and being unable to get up. Can't afford to be a bowler short. Not a big target. Get those legs in the right position and then worry about the hand afterwards. Oops, it's a bit slippery after this rain.
Yeah, it's greasy. I didn't see a rope go around. That's what they usually do. What England won't want is the seam getting wet. Four slips, a backward point, and mid-off. Mid-on, mid-wicket, fine leg. The rain that fell, there was just a little bit got onto the pitch. I don't think it'll make any difference at all. That's our position there in the media centre, so it looks that weather's gone. That's left us. Ball wing, surely. Desperate dive.
Checking it.
Who's that, Joe Denley?
Umpire, you're not checking it.
Hello.
It's already checked. TV umpire has informed.
That's an early one.
Oh, these stump mics reveal a few things out there on the field. Big dive. Obviously the ball hit the advertising board. Just have a look at this.
There has been a signal for. Let's have a look. He's all right, isn't he? This is tight. I think he's done okay there. Having another look.
He cancelled the original signal of 4 because ball didn't quite go over the rope or the marking on the ground where the rope was. Saw a few balls keep low yesterday. One would have hoped that that was not going to be the story.
Scampering down, they'll take every single. 6 without loss.
Just a little at a time. That's what Ireland will be saying. Checking off this target by 10s. Can't afford to be looking too far. Can't afford to be thinking too much about history either. About the fact that only 5 teams have managed to get over 181. Chasing here at Lords in the past.
It'll be Stuart Broad again. 2 experienced bowlers. But they've got it all to do. Ireland boys in that changing room, just stay calm. Just another game, just another innings. Not as simple as that.
Giving his bowlers every opportunity to take wickets. 4 slips in that cordon.
He's ticking Stuart Broad here. It's a wobbly seam. The wicket that fell, England's final wicket, was a wobbly seam from Stuart Thompson. Picked perfectly and just nipped back through the gate of Ollie Stone. There's all sorts happening.
They appealed, yes, but I don't think they were really convinced that anything had taken place. Well, anything that would have resulted in a wicket anyway. Bit of seam movement, got past the outside edge and just hit the back leg on the way through.
It's a stinger for Johnny Bairstow. Wayward delivery down the leg side. I mentioned just you've got to keep that seam dry if they can. That's what they want to do. They don't want that seam to go soft. These will be the umpire's scissors. He's got all sorts in his pockets. What are you doing here? They look a brand new pair as well.
One would hope made to fit and not just off the shelf. And still has to be cutting the toe out, so can't be made to fit. That's one of the most important things for a fast bowler. Your footwear has got to be comfortable. It has got to be something that gives a fair amount of support as well. If you're slamming that foot down.
I think support is so important, and you see these big strapping lads when that front foot belts down onto that popping crease, you see it in slow motion. There's a real quiver. And the short legs and all sorts of paraphernalia here, so there'll be another delay. It's another delay for these two batsmen just to have a chat in the middle. Seems ages since he bowled that last delivery. He's going to have to get loose again. leg side. Oh, they're having a look. Wicketkeeper Johnny Bairstow should know this. It's a slider.
A wobbly seam again. I don't think that had too much going for it. It was above the roll of the pad. That means there's every chance of it either just going over the top or being umpire's call. And I'm not too sure it's in line with leg stump either. Let's have a look. Missing. And would have been umpire's call if it had hit the top of the stumps. So it had absolutely nothing going for it. Umpire already said not out.
Good runs. 11 without loss. Need 171. This opening pair, what an adventure. Get the shine off the ball. Build a partnership. Keep everybody in that changing room content. Will Porterfield, 34 years of age. James McCollum, 23. Balbirnie in next, half century in the first innings.
I think it's very important that Porterfield spends a lot of time out there being the captain on the lead-off course. They'll be looking up to him to get them off to a good start.
Warwickshire to Warwickshire. Miss Woakes. Will Porterfield. It's about building this partnership. Just don't look at the board. Nice session here until 2 o'clock. Steady.
That's a length though that Woakes needs. Not too sure the line was quite right. He did manage to pull him into a shot, but I think Porterfield would more times than not allowed balls that wide to go through. But the length is good. Get him on the front foot.
Well, there's no swing so far into the 4th over. Always talk about the lacquer on the ball, but Mark Adair definitely swung the ball for Ireland. Close to the umpire from Chris Woakes. 84 miles an hour. He's had a real tough 7 weeks. And there's been reaction and comment about the World Cup players playing in this game.
Do you think if this was an Ashes match, Wembley performances would have been mirrored?
It's just the schedules, isn't it? It's a big problem.
I agree. The scheduling for cricket in general has been pretty poor in my estimation. But I think if this was an Ashes match, they would have lifted themselves because of the mere fact it's an Ashes. It was just Ireland in their mind, only Ireland. So we can just go out.
Oh, I don't think that at all. I think that what we've seen is people like Bairstow and Woakes and Root trying to lift themselves. They've just not been able to do. I think they've been 7 weeks of full-on cricket and win the World Cup, and you're just going to come down from that. And it seems that the players were sort of given options, and a couple like Butler and Ben Stokes, who opted to rest. You know, I've been slightly worried about Joe Root, the amount of cricket that he plays and the responsibility and the captaincy.
And again, if this was an Ashes match and they had been given the option, would they have taken the rest?
Oh no, absolutely.
Well, that is my point. They would have been up for it.
Oh, what a catch. Terrific catch. Johnny Bairstow moving away to his left. Ireland are 1 down.
And Porterfield, the captain, that's the man they would have wanted, England. Get the captain out of the way. Good delivery. Oh, and what a good catch. Moving away to his left. This time Joe Root got out of the way. It's yours. Well, I don't think he needed any invitation to take that, Johnny Bairstow. William Porterfield goes for 2. It's 11 for 1.
What a quality delivery.
Eleven for 1. Need 171 to win. Andy Balbirnie played really well in that first innings. First strike for England from Chris Woakes. 2 overs, 1 made and 1 for 5 for him. Excellent catch this from Johnny Bairstow. Ball dropping. Outside edge and the ball's going down.
Again, Woakes had him on his front foot. That's the length that you want, and the line was a lot better this time. Just pushing forward defensive. Not much he could have done with that.
Just looking at Stuart Broad's speed and he's pumping in. He's 85 miles an hour. Look at this catch again. England have got a short leg. Rory Burns is in a short catching position. But there's a fielder behind him at square leg. It's almost like a saver. It's Jack Leach. It's quite an odd position, that, because you're almost in line. In fact, he's moving now, Jack Leach, going back towards the boundary just behind square. Length is good from Broad, should be. Thought it would swing today, these conditions. Not seen any yet. Go till 2 o'clock in this session now.
Good to see them that they are willing to adjust timings in the modern game. Once upon a time, lunch could never be moved. Have the ludicrous situation of being off the field for an hour and a half, going out there starting play, and in 20 minutes you're back for lunch. Thankfully those days have passed.
No, he's had a little think there, Alindar. High.
Chances, lads. Come on. Chances here.
11 for 1.
Well, short ball is starting to hit his straps. And you can see that ball hitting above the pad. Gives you every indication that once the umpire says not out, more than likely it will remain not out. See Joe Root here signaling up high.
Yeah, come on, boys. You got to
Lovely shot, just a push. Just a push for 4.
Off the mark, the first delivery. Well timed.
Also, how we played it in the first innings, Liz.
No real aggression there from Balbird. Just a well-timed push. Full face of the bat. Well, in the previous over, this certainly was unlikely to be out, but it would have hurt. Missed the back thigh pad. Let's see what Hawkeye is suggesting here. Umpire's call. Every chance of that remaining not out once it gets that high.
It's funny when you see replays like that. See it first up, I think that's not much going for it. It's high. But when you see the ball tracker, it's umpire's call. It's hitting the stumps at the top. If you'd have given the decision the other way, it would have remained out. And you said, well, he's hitting the stumps. Writing his memoirs here. Softly.
My problem with these umpires call thing, Bumble, is that I'm still an old-fashioned cricketer, and I still go by the old adage that the batsman gets the benefit of the doubt. I hear Luba in the back saying there's nothing called an old adage, it's just an adage. Yes, but the batsman gets the benefit of the doubt. If it's just clipping the stumps, there's doubt. So why give it out?
And there's a school of thought also that people say if he's in the stumps, he's out. He's got to be out. Well, these games would last a day and a half or 2 days. They won't go any further. Look at that, it's a bail trimmer. For one. Just getting back to our team selections, which is always a bit of fun. You can pick your team. They're just looking at player A and player B. Did you see that? Player A and player B.
Yeah, and he thinks he's right in doing that.
He should have gone the whole hog of player A, player B, player C, player D, player E, and Jimmy Anderson. Excellent crowding, really is. 3 days.
Forward to this, HQ.
Squared him up. That's a quick delivery for Stuart Broad, 87.
Everyone knows and everyone has been saying it's going to be a tough fight this for Ireland. I just hope that they have it in their mind though that they still have to be thinking positively. They don't want to just go into a shell and think only about defense. They haven't really had bad deliveries to put away yet.
High in the air, he's going to get lucky here. There are 2 fielders out there for the hook shot. Sharp delivery, 86 from Broad. Jack Leach is at deep backward square.
Next thing he'll be backing away as well, Brody.
Nervy times. Ireland 17 for 1. They need another 165. What they're like in that Ireland changing room. Coaching staff out there on the balcony and players inside peeping through. Everybody's quiet.
Balbirnie learned from that last attempted hook. Got himself into a tangle with legs, bad position, everything. Just fortunate to get away. So he ducked under the next. If you're not a very good hooker, leave it alone, especially with 2 men out in the deep.
Outside edge, gone! Perfect line and length from Broad. It's a nervy time for Ireland.
Good line. Very good line. And Joe Root made that look very easy. Watched it all the way. Was dying as it got to him, but got to him high enough. 2 down. Just 18 on the board. It's a long way away, these other 164 runs.
That is out of the park.
We've got a cracking game here. Ireland need 164 more. It's a nervy time. They're 18 for 2 after 7 overs. Paul Sterling, new batsman. Kumar Sangakkara, David Gower.
Nice bumble. Yeah, that's exactly what England needed. It's going to be a tense day all round. They've bowled well this morning. They've kept their lines strong. There's been aggression. That was just nicely taken. Good line, good length. A little bit of extra bounce, maybe, not too much. Root's eyes firmly on the ball, hands firmly behind it. Thank you very much. No great emotion from the captain. He and the rest of the 11 out there realise that this is the sort of consistency they need to keep for the rest of the day, however long the day lasts. But 18 for 2 for England is a good start. For Ireland, those nerves will be jangling a little bit more. Tucked away, McCollum moves into double figures. This is kind of typical Broad. There's just a little bit of movement, hits the seam, just goes up the hill a little bit. That's all it takes. You just want the ball to move enough, not too much. Good length. Graphic proving that the lines, well, especially the lengths there rather, have been pretty much spot on for the conditions, for the pitch and conditions. Well, that's flown through. A lot of movement there, a lot of bounce, carry through chest high. Say one thing, Kumar, at least for England in their favour, we've got a slightly overcast morning, we've got lights on. All these things are normally things that fielding sides like, but that has gone a long way.
Yeah, it has, and both the English opening bowlers have adjusted very well from the first innings to now. Broad was pretty much on target in that first inning. Woakes was a little bit too short, and the fuller length, just like that, paying great dividends. What a great delivery one that went away, one that held its line, and straight through the defenses of Sterling. Just a little push too far. The bat well in front of that pad, creating the gap. Great seam position again, and the top of middle stump.
That smile absolutely justified for Chris Woakes. One sort of a length which flew through and went away. One pushed up there straight away, which has just nipped back ever so slightly. Paul Sterling would have been one of the key men in this Ireland batting lineup in this chase. So to remove him without scoring is a notable feather in the cap for England and this bowling attack. So it's 19 for 3 Ireland, now in trouble.
What a quality delivery.
Well, 19 for 3. This game has changed very quickly yet again. 19 for 3 means that it's now England who are on a roll, England who have momentum, England who will fancy their chances. Another 163 still needed. Kevin O'Brien at least can claim to be a man with a Test 100 to his name. But these conditions now this morning would appear to be favouring anyone with the ball in hand, and this is an absolute corker actually from Chris Woakes. The length is perfect, just comes up the hill a little bit as well. Broad did the same thing in the previous over, going up the hill to get the edge. Woakes has gone up the hill to find a way through, and the faces have gone just a little glummer in the visitors' dressing room. Full and straight again. A little shuffle across from Kevin O'Brien as he just has his first look at it for the day. The one thing Ireland would have wanted was a good start, just to settle nerves, confirm the dreams, but they wanted a good start. They haven't had it. Porterfield for 2, Balbirnie for 5, Sterling without scoring. 3 of the key players. Even Woakes himself would acknowledge that in the first innings he was off the pace for whatever reason. But the challenge is very evident this morning. England know exactly what they have to do as much as Ireland do. Lines have been good this morning. Just that little bit straighter overall. Oh, well bowled. His last 5 deliveries have all been full enough to get the ball, give the ball a chance to do something. That didn't quite carry through. Very fine over. 19 for 3 Ireland now. Just hits the seam. See the bat face close. Just needed to carry another foot.
Yeah, I think what saved O'Brien was the fact that he still played very, very close to those pads. He didn't really push his hands too hard and too far through the line of the ball. Especially with the late movement these bowlers are getting, you really have to be very, very tight with your hands and your bat. Watch it all the way up. You can't really play on spec and just length. and expect the ball to behave as you would normally on a flattish wicket. And Sterling very loose with his hands, created the gap, got bowled. And again, a beautiful delivery to start off with to McCollum. One that holds its line, moves away very, very late. It's been a combination of swing and seam. The in-swinger most of the time by Broad, using the shine. The one that holds its line and moves away. Scramble seam, fingers across the seam, almost like a leg cutter, moving really late off the pitch. Makes it very, very difficult for the batsman to see that early.
It's a good run. Sensible cricket too, just to try and rotate the strike. Pick up every run you possibly can in what is a very tense situation. Yeah, that previous ball from Broad, I think that's sort of part of the setup, isn't it? Gives him a chance to prove that his pace, bit of bounce around, that he's trying, that pressure is on. Technically, you could say as a one-off, it's a little bit too short, but it puts something into a batsman's mind and then allows you to push the ball up. And that was basically Woakes' method in the previous over. One short, going away, going through nicely to the keeper, puts thoughts in the mind, and then everything after that was full and was all part of the follow-up. Thick edge, skews away along the ground. Chase is on. It'll be a futile chase, so O'Brien is off the mark with that thick edge. 4 to his name now.
Well bowled again. This is the risk you take in Test match cricket as a fast bowler with the new ball. You push the ball up and further up. Scrambled seam again, the one that goes away. O'Brien getting a thick outside edge. The bowler won't mind that. A boundary, a streaky one, and that should inspire confidence into a Broad and Joe Root that the bowler is doing exactly what should be done. It's interesting the contrast between Woakes and Broad. Broad seems the outswinger away, whereas Woakes swings it away. Broad swings the in-swinger back in using the shine. Oh, that's a beautiful bouncer. Unfortunately, straight onto the helmet of Kevin O'Brien. Shaken up a bit, rubs the back of the head and puts his helmet back on, but the umpires will have a word and get the physio on. The protocol is that he has to be examined, assessed for concussion, and it also means early drinks.
They're not the only fireworks you'll see today.
Well, it's been an eventful game. It's been a very eventful third morning, interrupted sadly by a bit of rain, bit of bad weather, but this Ireland chase, foundering very early. Lovely delivery from Woakes there to get rid of Porterfield. Equally so, another good ball, this time from Stuart Broad up the hill. That was the end of Balbirnie, and as good as any. Through the gates. Woakes had created doubt early, found the perfect length, the perfect line there, and just that little bit of nip. So 3 down it is, 24 for 3 at the moment. Ian Ward, a little bit of something for us.
Just going to look at that third wicket, the wicket of Sterling, and the setup. You guys are talking about the setup of the batsman on the left. He only faced 2 deliveries. This was his first. You watch how Woakes keeps the seam beautifully upright, and the ball moves away from the right-handed Sterling and down the slope. Remember that seam position. Second ball, slight cant of the seam in, and Woakes is going to take this back into Sterling and through the gate. It's a subtle little change, but he's just wobbled the seam, nips it back. Beautiful. Just 2-ball setup. Very skillful.
Another bumper. The earlier one hitting Kevin O'Brien in the back of the helmet. But thankfully he's recovered and ready to go. Really interesting to watch the subtle changes in that seam position, as Wardy spoke about. But at the same time, the shine was always on the same side. So if you're a batsman and you're trying to get a cue from how the bowler's holding the ball, it's impossible to see which way it'll go, because he uses his wrist position, the seam position. It's a nightmare when that happens and someone's bowling that accurate length.
Appeals ignored, as well they might be. So the over eventually completed after the blow to the head, the drinks, the concussion test. Another bouncer, one down the leg side. 24 for 3 it is. In the first innings, England deliberately bowled short at Kevin O'Brien, made life awkward for him when he was trying to bat through the tail. They didn't give him an opportunity to try and score the runs, the extra runs, by taking the attack back to the bowlers that he might have had in mind by pinning him on the back foot, basically. So very early in the piece here, Stuart Broad has reminded him again that he might be susceptible to the short ball. That is just gorgeous bowling from Woakes. He's got the lines right, he's got the lengths right, he's got movement. He's loving every moment of this. McCollum, the only man into double figures so far today, had to play at it, drawn into playing at it. All he could do was edge it, and it's another very good catch.
Again, the beautiful seam position for the away swinger that Ian Ward was talking about an over ago. Great length, getting the batsman pushing forward. Exactly what you need when the ball is doing a lot. Cloud cover, the pitch is taking a bit of seam. James McCollum goes for 11, and Ireland in deep trouble at 24 for 4.
Well, that's a key breakthrough.
.24 for 4. Gary Wilson takes guard. Averages low 20s in the 2 games Ireland have played before. He's on a pair. Not the first man in this test match to be on a pair, but the pressure really is on Ireland now. That, for once, hasn't really carried through, but Woakes has settled in very nicely now to his work. Just goes away again. Goes through low to Johnny Bairstow this time. Obviously, if the edge had been taken, it might just have carried. Might have taken a little bit off it, but it didn't bounce quite as much as expected. Lines, lengths and shapes, all good. Oh, that's close. That's got to be very, very close. But umpire shakes his head, which is, as may be, very quickly.
TV umpire to
Roots
director. We have a
England
review here
have
for
decided to have
LBW.
another.
Original decision not out. Can we start with a front foot, please? That's a fair delivery. Can we go on a front on spin vision? Thank you. Okay, yeah, can we just yeah, rock and roll that, please? Yeah, go through it, Old Trudge, if you can, please, when ready. Thank you. Roll it through, roll it through, roll it through. Okay, there's no bat involved. Flat line. Can we go through to ball tracking when available, please? Just waiting for it at the moment, Richira. It's coming up now, mate. Pitching outside off, impact in line. Wickets hitting. I'll have to get you to change your original decision. I'll let you know when you're on screen. You're on screen now. You can signal out. Thank you.
Well, it's taken just 2 deliveries for Gary Wilson's worst fears to be confirmed. 2 balls faced. LBW to the second one on review. He has a pair. He matches Johnny Bairstow, England's keeper, who also made a pair. So not a batting game for the keepers, it seems, here at Lord's. The RH woes get worse. 24 for 4 very quickly becomes 24 for 5 as Gary Wilson makes his way back with a duck. Yes, indeed. Faces in the RS dressing room. They've been beaming for the last couple of days. They've worked seriously hard over the last couple of days to put themselves in a good position. But England seem to be redeeming themselves on this third and no doubt final day. Everything seems to have clicked into place for Broad and Woakes this morning. The effort is there, the lines are there, the pace is there, the aggression's there, and the results are there too.
It's been a brilliant performance for the Irish batsmen. It was a case of trying to find a way through and past these 2 opening bowlers. The spell with the new ball was always going to be crucial for both sides, especially with the overhead conditions. But England right on top, 5 wickets down. Someone has to take charge of this chase for Ireland. Got to find a way, counter punch. Score some runs. Could it be Stuart Thompson? Was brilliant with the ball for Ireland in the second innings. But he needs to do the work with the bat. Partnership with Kevin O'Brien. Runs count. They lost a couple of wickets. It's unfortunately some very, very good bowling that accounted for most of them. A conscious decision to change the game up. Look for runs.
Very hard to do. This is by some distance England's best bowling of the match. Yes, they've got conditions that favour them, but the bowling has been this morning of hugely high quality. Movement again, up the hill, extravagant movement this time. Whether you've been there a couple of balls or a couple of 100 balls, this will test you.
Again, the wobble seam. It's a constant theme. First innings, a little bit wider off that off stump, maybe a little bit shorter in length, but the second innings, bang on target. The last 2 days have been a wake-up call of sorts for the English side, and they have woken up. They've taken the cues, they've adjusted, and Woakes ends another very successful over. Ireland 24-4-5.
Well, Chris Woakes now 5 overs, 2 maidens, 4 for 10. He was very much off the pace in the first innings. He's very much on it now. Very, very fine opening spell. Ten overs in, already 5 wickets down. Stuart Broad continues from the pavilion end. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Finger didn't take long to go up this time either. Kevin O'Brien doesn't like coming forward particularly. That one's nipped back down the hill. He's not even really thought about it. I think he's just accepted his fate and started the long walk back.
Yeah, pinned right back in the crease. That's where he plays from the scramble seam again. Hit very much in front of middle leg. Broad dead sure that the finger was going up. The appeal almost a formality. And that is thudding into leg stump. Easy decision for the umpire. A tough walk back for Kevin O'Brien. Gone for 4. Ireland 24 for 6.
What a quality delivery.
Well, they keep coming. Doesn't take long, it seems. 24 for 6 in the space of just 10 overs and 1 ball. Next man in, Mark Adair, who has bowled very well with the great energy and skill in this game so far. But now Ireland will be clutching at straws. They need someone somehow to make some runs. This was pretty dead from Stuart Broad. Just had a quick glance behind to make sure he got the right decision, which came very quickly. But it's nipped quite a long way back down the hill. Kevin O'Brien, as a shuffler rather more than a foot mover, was trapped well in front.
England were asked the conditions to suit them. Defending the 182, this is what they would have asked for. Overcast, heavy air around. And also the change to the older version of the Duke ball, helping them a lot. The pronounced seam. Scramble seam, biting into the pitch. Extravagant movement off it. A little bit of swing through the air. The batsman is looking just for visual cues. You can sometimes set yourself up for the swing by watching the shine of the ball in the bowler's hand. But with that more pronounced seam, especially Woakes has been very adept at holding the shine for the conventional outswing, swinging it away up the slope, but then just changing his position with his fingers on that seam and getting it to just nip back in. It's very hard for the batsman to see it early. So Broad's gone the opposite way. In swing with the shine, and then a scramble seam to take the ball away.
Everything you described so well, of course, relies on length. If you look at all these deliveries here, that red line across the pitch we've superimposed. and then the green. So good length and full length are the keys under these conditions, which Ireland, with slightly less pace, took advantage of at the start of the game very effectively. England with slightly greater pace have done everything right with the ball this morning. Length is the key, and yeah, I agree entirely. What you do with the ball, if you can preempt something as a batsman, gives you half a clue. You still got to watch the ball, still got to do something about it. If you're getting movement off the pitch and you've now only got your last 2 or 3 yards before it reaches you to do something about it, that's when you run out of time very quickly. That's why length is so important.
When there is movement like that, both in the air and off the pitch, as a batsman, you go through or you fall into a place where you expect every ball to do something, and then it just makes you very negative in your intent. It's happened to the Irish batsman.
Round the wicket, almost brings instant results, but it's a wicket and a run from the 11th over. It's 25 for 6. Dramatic stuff then here at Lord's on this third and no doubt final morning. 25 for 6, taking over in the commentary box, Michael Atherton and Nasser Hussain.
Thanks, David. What a spell this has been. 5 overs, 4 for 10. Broad's legs are pumping at the other end as well, as he does at times. 6 overs, 2 for 13. Nipped back, stayed down a little bit, and Broad for a while didn't even look back. Just felt this morning with the rain, the lights on, it felt a better day for bowling. These two have used it well. My word. My word, good luck playing that. Did you have Woakes in your first Ashes test, Ath?
Not at Edgbaston, no. You'd want him here, though, at Lord's. His record at Lord's is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Well, when they went out in this innings, I think you and Bumble showed that Hawkeye of where they bowled up front with the new ball first innings. They've made up for their errors, that is for certain. A lot of movement. Fuller attacking the stumps, brilliant bowling.
Yeah, when we were talking about the difficulties for opening batsmen here in England the last few years, it's because they've often been faced with conditions like this, with the floodlights on and the drainage having cleared the rain quickly. And those shiny red dukes doing plenty in the air. It's tough batting conditions, as you'll find.
Just wondering why there's 2 men out on the hook, actually. I mean, maybe there will be the odd bouncer, but there's a fine leg and a deep square. Maybe they're going to target him with the odd short ball. When it's moving around like this, might want another catcher in. Ireland's plan, hit their way out of trouble? What do you reckon?
Well, Adair's that type of cricketer, isn't he? He gives it a go. Clearly we've seen him bowl well in this game, but he can have a bit of a dash as well with the bat, and you just think, well, maybe that's the way to go now. Just have a swing.
Toe end of the bat will only be a single. 26 for 6.
Not very well to say you sometimes need an over my dead body attitude, which is absolutely true in Test cricket and in conditions like these. But sometimes when you're 26 for 6, you've just got to try and find a way of changing the game.
Played with Stuart Law at Essex, and when he got in situations like this or the moving ball, he just had a mentality of, I'm going to get you before you get me. I'm going to get some, get a bit of confidence going, a few boundaries, put the bowlers on the back foot. Easier said than done, though, and it's doing so much. And you're talking two high quality bowlers in Broad and Woakes with a lot of experience.
It's interesting, isn't it? I know you made the quip about the squad, but what England are going to name their squad tonight for the Ashes, and one assumes that they're going to have a 13-man squad, which will include an array of fast bowlers. They're going to be these three. They're going to have Anderson, Archer if he's fit, and then you kind of got the conditions, or you've got the team for whatever conditions you want come that first test, first morning.
So the flatter the pitch, of which you don't get that many in England anymore, brings Archer more into it for his
Correct.
pace.
And if it's like this,
Brings
well,
Woakes.
but of course, as we've seen here, conditions can change from day to day as well. I mean, we had it roasting hot yesterday, 37 degrees, the sun beating down. But this morning here, the conditions very different.
That's another one. How many this summer have we seen been worn by batsmen? Plenty in the World Cup, already 2 here. We'll have a delay, and rightly so.
Say how many people get hit on the head pulling, partly because of what you see from sideways on there, which is batsmen looking to pull and hook off the front foot. He's beaten for pace and taken his eye off it, but he's looking to come forward at Woakes.
It was understandable in the World Cup, wasn't it? A lot of batsmen getting hit, they'd get on the front foot, and there was a lot more pace in that World Cup than we've seen for a while. Likes of Wood and Archer for England, for example. Seems to be a lot of people hit on the head nowadays. Goodness for helmets.
You see that Josh Poisden was hit badly in the nets by Don Bess, I think. Don Bess hit one back at him in the nets up at Headingley yesterday, and he fractured his skull, or he certainly took a bad blow to the head, so we hope he's okay.
Well, just 12.5 overs have gone. 6 wickets have fallen. Porterfield nicked off. Brilliant catch from Johnny Bairstow. Outstanding catch. Broad now into the action. Regulation catch from Root. Good length from Broad. Balbirnie is a good player and he nicked it. Sterling through the gate. Nipped back up. And that one that went the other direction. Good catching from England as well. A pair for Wilson on review. That's been put away. That's a good shot, having been hit on the head for the very next ball to pull Broad away for 6 by the looks of it. Yep, he's asking it is.
Well, it takes Ireland past the lowest ever test total for a start. But Adair, as I said, is that kind of player. He can chance his arm, and maybe he's the one player in this lineup now who just has a chance of putting a bit of pressure back on somebody like Stuart Broad or Chris Woakes.
Well, I was asking why 2 men out. I think I know the answer now, because he's going to have a little dart and he's going to be a bit of a happy hooker as well. Oh, not anymore, he isn't. Through the gate, short ball, full ball. Broad, too good.
Yeah, and it's another delivery with a batsman drawn onto the front foot. That's been the noticeable thing from Broad and Woakes today, that virtually every wicket has come from a full-length ball. Adair looking to drive, it nip back and just peg back off stump. The lengths that Broad and Woakes have bowled between them this morning, exploiting these wonderful bowling conditions, have been exceptional. Adair gone for 8, Ireland 32 for 7.
What a drive. Ireland's hopes of a historic win at Lord's have been blown away by Woakes and Broad. Some brilliant fast bowling, great length. 7 down for just 32. Andy McBride comes in at number 9. .32 for 7. Well, we've been critical over the years of Stuart Broad, maybe for being a bit short, maybe for wasting the new ball. Not here today. You don't get the wickets that he's got over the years without being a very skillful bowler.
We saw the highlights package of all the wickets just before that Adair dismissal. The noticeable thing was how many were targeting the stumps because of the length that England bowled.
Driven down the ground, they're going to play some shots here, Ireland. That'll be 4.
And Woakes won't mind, Root won't mind. They're going to keep pushing it up on that length that brings movement and takes the edge or encourages an edge. Catchers are waiting. Root will hold his nerve at 36 for 7 and keep those catches in. And Woakes will hold his and keep pushing it up.
Driven again, good stop by Broad. Man goes out on the hook. Bouncer comes. Where Woakes has been good here today. At times in one-day cricket, his length is back of a length, which is where you need to be, hit the splice. His adjustment has got to be to bowl fuller, and that's what he's done well, without being floaty. Tell a seamer to pitch it up, and they float it out and get driven. Bowled it at a pace at a fuller length. good catch that went quickly. Chris Woakes, who loves bowling at Lord's, has another fifer.
Well, there's a rapid fifer for Tim Murtagh in the opening session of this game, and a rapid one now for Chris Woakes. 5 for 15. He's into his 7th over. And Ireland tottering as Woakes holds the ball high, takes the applause of the Lord's crowd. He loves bowling here, and he's loved bowling on this gloomy morning with the light shining, and there's been plenty of movement for him. He's been helped by some good catching. Root on this occasion. England's catching and bowling the best of the match so far this morning, with Thompson gone for 4, Ireland 36 for 8.
Wow, that's a key breakthrough.
Tim Murtagh comes in at number 10, and Chris Woakes has his 3rd 5-wicket haul at the home of cricket. There's a Test 100 here as well. Does Chris Woakes? Tim Murtagh won't be enjoying this. He won't enjoy the scorecard, but he also knows what's coming. He's going to be swinging like a rusty gate. Great lengths, superb catching. Yep, 5 for Chris. Won a World Cup on this ground, has a Test 100 on this ground, and now 3 fifers in Test match cricket. Knew what was coming. 36 for 8.
Well, Ian Ward did a interview with Tim Murtagh on the second morning of this game, reflecting mainly on his bowling, that brilliant 5 on the first morning, but he did ask him a question about his batting as well, and querying why he wasn't getting in line. That's the way that he plays. He was stepping away then until he realised it was so wide of off stump.
In that first innings, when Tim Murtagh was swinging and England were bowling short at him, Michael Holding at the back of the box said, what about a slower ball? Maybe England have been listening. First ball was a slower ball. 4 slips and a gully now. Correction, 4 slips and a short leg. He's been moved to short leg. Edged. Oh, it's same it again. Caught Root, 36 for 9. England's catching and bowling absolutely outstanding.
Yes, it began with Bairstow, didn't it? Flinging himself to his left and taking an excellent catch. And since then, the catching in that cordon has been excellent. Root has been in the game. And every time an England bowler runs up, those slip fielders must stand there with great expectation. Broad will be desperate to join Woakes on that honours board. He's got a chance to do it. 5 balls at Ireland's number 11 with McBride gone for none. 36 for 9.
Five for 15, Chris Woakes. 4 for 19, Stuart Broad. Ireland's hopes taken away from them in a spell of 14 overs and 1 ball. Catching, lengths, everything you want from your senior bowlers. Outstanding.
Mentioned that Ireland had got past that lowest Test score, which was 26. Haven't yet got past the shortest Test innings here at Lord's, which was 17 overs when India were bowled out. What year was that, Benedict? 1974.
Yeah, I mean, some people said it could be pressure. It's not pressure, it's the skill, not the pressure of winning your first Test match. They've just not coped with the skill of two senior, well-established fast bowlers.
And the conditions as well, which has obviously given those two senior bowlers tremendous opportunity. The lights and the low cloud and the drizzle, it just felt like a wonderful morning to bowl. It is a game which is dictated more often than not by the conditions in front of the players, and whether you can cope with those conditions, and Ireland haven't.
Broad has one thing on his mind, a fifer. He's got 5 deliveries here to get it. What's that gone past leg stump?
Facial expressions sometimes of Stuart Broad that we've seen over the years. When recall that Test match at Trent Bridge when he whistled out Australia in no time, and his facial expression after Ben Stokes' wonder catch. Right from the start of this innings, when his legs were pumping, you felt he was on top of his game.
Well, he has those spells, doesn't he? 7 times he's had 5 wickets in a spell. You just know it's coming. And this could be the 8th. If he gets it straight, he's in with a chance here. Those 3 bits of wood he's got to aim at, he's got a chance. Root wants a fly slip, catching the way Boyd Ranking is swinging hard. He feels it might go over the slip cord and get caught. Fly slip. Who's he put down there? It's Leach, I think. He's 92 yesterday. Looks good. Jack Leach.
Maybe he can be your man, opener A. Jay Leach. Must have a shout for man of the match. I wonder whether he'd ever thought he'd win a man of the match award in a Test for his batting.
At Lord's. Now Stuart Broad. Full and straight. And just popped out to the cow corner, deep mid-wicket.
All Broad's got to do is imagine he's bowling it himself. Get it full and get it straight.
Yeah. Wicket maiden, 36 for 9. Well, you never guess that it's 36 for 9. The field is spreading out. There's a fine leg, a deep square, a deep mid-wicket, a long on, a long off, catching third man, but it says more about Tim Murtaugh's style of batting than the scoreboard. Joe Root knows that Murtaugh is just going to swing as hard as he can. Up and over the offside. Does he get it over? Yes. A run-out chance. Gets home. The old-fashioned lower order batsman Tim Murtagh. Nowadays they work hard at their batting, they get in behind it. Tim Murtagh is from the Phil Tufnell school. Just go out and back away and swing.
Peter Such school of batting as well.
The other thing that's gone as well is the bowler's clique. You pitch it up to me and I'll pitch it up, although Tim Murtagh wouldn't bump Chris Woakes too often.
He tried one at Stuart Broad,
Yeah.
didn't he, in that spell, and got up about hip height. But Woakes knows which way Murtagh's going, which is outside leg stump, and that's why he bowled that bouncer on that line.
Again, now that you've got him where you want, full and straight's got to be. You might get flayed over cover for 4, but full and straight eventually. The reason they bat down there is they miss the straight ones. Like that. Full, straight. Chris Woakes has 6. Ireland have been blown away. The lowest score in Test match cricket at Lord's. Their dreams have been shattered. Their stumps have been shattered. Brilliant spell. Stuart Broad one end, Chris Woakes the other. Outstanding today from England.
Sure was. No other bowlers needed other than Broad and Woakes, who have bowled 15.4 overs between them, shared all 10 wickets. The last of them gives Woakes the bragging rights with 6 for 17. Broad finishes with 4 for 19. And Ireland's dream has died quickly here at Lord's. They came to the ground full of hope and expectation, and those dreams died in the best part of 16 overs. The swiftest ever Test innings here at Lord's, the lowest Test score at Lord's. And England, they were given a scare, but they prevailed.
Feel for the Irish lads. For 2 days they put on a real show. They started to believe this morning, but in the space of 15 overs and 5 balls, we've had 11 wickets today. Ollie Stone lasted just 1 ball, and then the 10 wickets of Ireland. It's been a day for bowling. Been a game that Jack Leach will remember for a long, long time for his batting. Chris Woakes will lead England off on a ground that he loves, a ground that he puts in special performances.
Yeah, the story of the Test has been some incredible bowling feats. We will remember Woakes as he walks off there with 6 for 17. Broad was excellent this morning. Tim Murtagh, who started the Test match off with 5 for 13 in 9 overs. Been some outstanding bowling. You'd have to say that the standard of batting was as low as it has been seen, I think, in Test cricket in recent years.